still in public participation. And we have our CC, who is studying in for the deputy governor. The deputy governor was unwell, so he could not make it, but because Machakos County is an enabler government which listens and responds when called upon to such important meeting for public participation, rather community participation, as the professor said. And that's why we are all here to present and make sure we are with you and tell you more about what Machakos County is doing to support public participation. In Machakos, we have 235 villages, each village presented by a village administrator. We have 40 wards, each ward presented by a ward administrator, and we have 9 sub-counties, the ones we used to call constituency. So we call them 9 because of Kalama. It is not gazetted as such, but it's a sub-county, and they are represented by sub-county administrators. And that's say from now our office, from the standards unit where we have the participation department, we devolve all our function to the village level, and because those stars are out there, we make sure any information which is from the county, it gets to the village in a matter of seconds, and Mwananchi will definitely get to know what to do and where to start, and the communication from the above. With those few remarks, I want to welcome Director Chalo, that can give us more insights about public participation in Machakos. Sand.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this particular opportunity to share between the Kara, I believe this is Kara Machakos chapter, and the county government of Machakos. My name is Augustine Charles, as you've been told. I'm the Director of Citizen Engagement. Thank you, our CC, Bwana Kimeu. Thank you, Bwana Professor Lewa. You are one of the people I read very much, and I admire the way you try to write to let us know much about governance, because it is one area that we're really lacking in this country. Thank you, CEO Kara. I came when the session was on, but I picked a few things mainly that I would want to share with you from the county government side. Being the technical director, public participation, there are several things that I would want to acknowledge. One, Machakos County has a public participation act enacted in the year 2014 through a lot of effort by the civil society. They have been very good partners, especially in building the capacity of the county. We have the county public participation guidelines that were given a public participation or were shared for input of the stakeholders in the December of 2019, just before the onset of COVID. The guidelines were supposed to proceed to the cabinet, and they did proceed and were really passed. So the public participation were adopted by the government. We are in the process of sharing the county assembly, because there is always the part of the county assembly. When we talk about the county has two structures. It has the executive and the county assembly. The citizens are beneficiaries of the two. It doesn't matter the situation at any moment. The two should read from the same script when it comes to matters development. We have a county public participation strategy that is an internal document. We have in place a dedicated unit called the Directorate of Citizen Engagement that is meant to mainstream public participation in all government activities. It has a director, 2 deputy directors, and 12 public participation officers. That is at the county level. As per the Act, the sub-county administrator is the facilitator and convener of all public participation forums at the sub-county level. According to the Act, the ward administrator is the convener and the facilitator of the public participation at the ward level. According to the Act, the village administrator is the convener and facilitator of public participation at the village level. We have listened and have had some challenges. I would say what I've shared now are success stories. Those are things that we have done. We have taken the strides towards trying to entrench public participation in the county government of Machakos, such that in future, we do not have those leaders who come in doing things differently. It is true, when the county governments came in 2013, there was nothing in place to facilitate this public participation. Nothing had been prepared. So for almost a year, 2-3 years, we were in the woods. But by the end of the first term, things started taking a direction. Something I have heard, more especially on the part of the youth, how do we make youths participate in public participation? Because that has been one of my biggest challenge, and it is a known fact that I am one champion of trying to make young people participate in government development planning. I am of the feeling that the county governments do not have the capacity to give fare to youths to attend public participation. Maybe you would ask me why. My friend Jacob Gumi, Mwaniki is here, a good witness is what happens when we go to the county assembly for the passage of the public participation budget. We request for a budget of maybe 100 million in a year. We are given 50,000 in a year. We are saying the youths are 70% of the population of Machakos. Sidio? Assuming you are going to the field and they are sure that you are going to give them fare, you are going to find the 70% present that day. Because they know you are coming with the money. Is it practical? That is one challenge. The second challenge is, we would want every citizen to take part in public participation. How do you budget for it when you don't know how many will attend? Unless you're telling us now to gatekeep. That is, we only engage a few and let the others out. That's the second challenge. It's open to your input because we would want to do it better. The third one is we tried and we have already mapped our stakeholders. We know the youths, we know our farmers, we know our business community. But we have a challenge. The moment you decide to engage only that team, we are likely to start drifting to a direction that used to be there, and that is likely to come back if we are only engaging a few. That is, they become your people, you plan for the count with your people, excluding the others. Are we getting it? Yeah, it used to be there. And I was still a young man growing up. I have nimesikia chairman, our nani Githu. When you were working with the former authorities, whenever you came to Masinga, I used to be a young man. I used to go there to go to the meeting, but I would be told you are not allowed to sit into that meeting because my money is not there. Nitapewa pesa na nani? So you see, my idea was excluded because they did not plan for me in terms of budget. So these are challenges that are really down here on the ground. As much as we would want to empower our young people to come for the public participation, the money issue is a challenge. But we got a solution. We have decentralized our public participation to the village level. Our current village is the sub-location. Our meetings are about 30 minutes walk from your home and back. That was up to this particular year. In the next year, we want to do it at home cluster level. We want to ensure the traditional village as a public participation, such that you will be sitting with your uncle, your mother, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, and plan what you feel concerns you at that particular level. This system has another advantage. It tries to weed out political interference in public participation, because no hooligan will make noise at their own home. Will you heckle your father when he's talking? But when we go to a hall, most likely somebody who doesn't want things being done the way they're being done will be sent and to go there and heckle people there. So we're trying to make it more accessible, as well as trying to make it more meaningful. Once they do it at the village level, we usually take a representative to go and submit all what has been done at the ward level. So we are going to make it accessible to our youth. But I don't want to promise there will be money, because money is the big challenge in the counties. We provide water and probably snacks because they are affordable. Because, when I give you our love and a soda, that is how many shillings? Imagine if I gave you that 50 shillings as your fare back, na ulikuja na boda labda ya 200, you will think I'm insulting you, sidio? So we rather share that water there, and because it is easy to account for that. There was another issue of, the reason why we are doing it this way is because of sustainability. There are a few counties. Professor, I want you to do a few studies on some of the counties that started off giving out fair reimbursement in 2013. The latest assessment by World Bank indicated that they are at the mercy of the next governor who comes into power. If the next governor is not pro-giving, because no county, as I have looked at the policies, no county has put into their policies that they should give money. It is a gentleman's agreement between the leaders and the people. So in a scenario where the governor walks out, the next governor may think hii pesa inapeangwa watu ni West, inataka kutumia kwa kazi ingine. That becomes another problem. It kills public participation. So sustainability, we decided to walk the hard path, but the hard path that guarantees sustainability. We are in the process the county government is working very closely with the PWDs to come up with also guidelines for public participation for PWDs in the county government of Machakos. We know there are people who are blind who would want to know what is in that particular ADP. We know there are people who are deaf who would want to attend and follow a public participation. We know there are people who are physically challenged who would want to take part in public participation. We have already solved some of the problems by trying to decentralize our public participation to the nearest level. We are in consultation with the PWD groups to ensure that we get some materials done in embossed, they call them embossing, into Braille. We are working with, we have already got some tools through the KDSP program sponsored by World Bank to ensure that we have, during our public participation, we are projecting whatever is being discussed, mainly for those who are deaf. So we are trying to work on trying to sort some of those problems. Why do we have why are we saying that our youths do not have the budget for youth in our planning documents is quite minimal? Do you know why? Do you know why? The reason is simple. The young people do not go to plan for their money. And I always ask people, for example, najua hapa kuna watu wako kwa chama, hata kama ni ya wanaume ya kupanga party ya end of year, si ndio? Unapeana your 1,000 and at the end of the year you want to plan for that party. Do you tell people, endeni mpange tu pesa, mkipanga nitakuja kukula? Do you do that? You ensure your input into that budget is felt. Sidio? The moment we give these taxes, and during the ADP, tunasema serikali itafanya chenye serikali inataka. You know, that is what the youth say. Hata tukienda serikali itafanya chenye What have you done? You have really not even delegated. You have absconded a personal duty. I want us to agree that there's a duty for the government and there's a duty for the citizen in public participation. If you as a citizen do not take up your duty, you cannot move forward and say the government doesn't do. So by our youth being minimal, not being represented in our public participation, we have their budgets being cut down to very minimal. And the few who come in there, I want to be honest because I've been there since 2013. Ni wale vijana wa boda boda wenye wanakaanga hiyo area tu hapo. And those guys who come to the market to hide about, utapata ndio, ukihesabu kama youth ni 10, utapata they are 8. And 2 youths who really understand what is going on. Those young guys who do not understand because they're coming thinking there could be an handout or something to get, end up asking for something that other people think, was this government crazy doing it? But you see, that is what they asked for because they were in that particular forum. I have also heard other voice of the Helite asking, mbona naonanga hizi pesa za counties zinatumiwa vibaya? I can prove by giving you all the public participation attender sheets. I can show you how the only public participation that has got elites is the one held in Machakos and the one held in Mavoko. Tunaelewana? Out in the village, elites think it is a kid's game. They don't even think it is worth going. But you see, we are planning at village level, ward level, then the economists will get all what has been put in there to translate it into programs. We are trying, or we have thought of working to get a solution through the KDSP program again, funded by World Bank, and through a lot of support from our Waziri ICT, we have come up with an interactive website. Actually, it should be launched any time from this week. At the comfort of your own house, participate in the government. We are making it a continuous public participation process. Don't even wait for that day when we announce for the public participation. Give us your ideas. There are people dedicated to sitting down and putting down issues touching on agriculture, touching on roads, touching on youth, such that when the economists are doing the actual planning, they will put those materials into consideration. We are also going to have chat rooms in that particular public participation forum website where you can question what you feel is not right. We shall have forums where you can, this is a forum for people who have interest in health. This is a forum for people who have interest in maybe budgeting. So we are trying to work on that to ensure that even the elites sitting in the comfort of their office in Nairobi who come from Machakos can also give us their ideas. Because they're saying it is not easy to come for public participation. Basically, I think I've gone through, given you an overview of the situation in Machakos, but it is important to note this. Public participation is very expensive. Very expensive. If we leave it to the government, it will not be possible. We need to have a deliberate interest as citizens to participate. Sometimes you will sacrifice your time. Sometimes you will sacrifice your little money to go and ensure that things are planned right because you're planning for yourself. I'm very thankful to the civil society, Machakos Civil Society Network, mainly for the support they're giving us, mainly in the last 2 or 3 years. We have worked out very well together. We have done more than 30 policies together. And the engagement is seamless. It happens, we pass to them, we work on it. Thank you very much. There will be some more input from the CC, mainly on the government agenda on public participation, the way forward, because there are things that, you know, he is a vision bearer. The governor is a vision bearer. We are the technical people. So Waziri will try also to give us an overview of what he thinks is the direction or what the governor is planning for future engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our director, for that. I think that gives us a picture of what is happening within the circles of county government in terms of public participation, what they're planning, what they feel, and how we need to engage with them better. So I don't know, Wazir, if you want to make a few remarks now before we go to the plenary. Yeah. Okay, please come.
Allow me to remove this. The CEO of Karam, Mr. Henry Ochen, the chair of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Kithu, Professor Lewa, for insightful, all the insightful information that you've given us, Mr. Ngumi, the CEO for young professionals in Machakos and the civil society na ndugu zangu nyote. Hamjambo. My name is Kimeu Kimeu. I'm in charge of public service and ICT Machakos County. And I'm happy to be here. I'm representing our Deputy Governor, His Excellency, Engineer Francis Maliti, who could not make it because he is not feeling well. And I'm sorry I walked in late. I should have come a little bit earlier. It's only that I was notified 10 minutes before I arrived here. Lakini ninajua kuwa watu wangu hapa wametusukuma mbele. I also came accompanied with the Chief Officer in charge of energy, and he's the one who plans, gets all the information from public participations on where we need transformers for electrifications and our Mulika Mwizi program. As you've seen that we've also started changing, we are going to, we are harnessing green energy. Public participation is a very interesting topic because it also gives us a lot of insights. But I've just been requested to make a few remarks on also the challenges that are there. And one of the things that have not been talked about is what we call in Ukambani kuvudhiisha, yani kudharau vitu watu wakiitwa. Kudharau, sasa hao watakuja kutuambia nini this time, ama wanatuambia tufanye nini wakati huu. So you find that in so doing, as the director and professor have talked about it, a lot of things happen, and you find that as leaders, we know what is supposed to happen, but you can't force it because the wananchi have not requested for it. I'm very passionate when I go for a public participation forum and find the youth. I'm telling you, the youth in Ukambani have some of the most brilliant ideas. And at times, one or two you'll find them. At times you'll find that they have not taken, they have done their research well. They do their research very well because they are in touch. But the numbers are very few. And also you can find that out of 3 forums that you've gone to, you'll only find 2 or 3 youth. The second one, as he's talked, is the elites. Our elites have become prisoners of WhatsApp and all the social forums and lamenting in clubs instead of taking advantage of coming back home and doing things that are supposed to touch the hearts of the people. I will give you a good example. Go to schools, the schools that our parents built in Ukambani. Enda hizo shule, utakuta ile dawati ilikaliwa na baba yako, ama wewe ulikalia na ilikuwa imenunuliwa na baba yako. Because our elites have not come back to our schools to see what is happening. It is something, it is a challenge that we need to take. At times, we have policies that have stopped simple things like sand harvesting, but you find that the youth have become also very violent because there's easy access to what? Easy access to money. Yeah, we are trying to preach against some vices, but and talking about how food resources are stretched because we don't have enough the resources that were previously used for horticulture nowadays have been converted for producing muguka. Have you noticed that? Yeah, where there is water and everything, mtu anapanda muguka. Saa 8 probox inainua ikienda mahali ingine. There are some of those observations. But the challenges are there, and as county government, we are trying to see how we can bridge that gap. Also using technology, because over 89% of our Machakos residents have access to a mobile phone. And that is remarkable. So we are working in my department to see how can we harness all this to make sure that if you don't come, how else can you communicate to us? Is a call center enough? Are SMSs enough? Are WhatsApps enough? Or what other forums? His department, he has a section that goes to collect information, that collects information from the chat groups, different chat groups that are found around. So we are working together to see how we are going to harmonize that. And let me tell you, in the world of technology, I can tell you in the next 3-4 years, public participation will be very thorough in terms of it's going to be analyzed through artificial intelligence. You come to discover that people are saying, no, 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 no. Show me the number of people who talked about this. Because according to the records that we have 80,500 and something residents of Machakos classified this as a priority. And until we are able to say that this is how we are going, we classify that this is the information that we want, then we say, let us move using information-based to make information-based decision. The professor talked about the countries that made deliberate effort. And I request each and everyone, whenever you go outside there, make a deliberate effort to preach about, let us go for public participations for whatever it is. If the business community is talking also, let us make a deliberate effort also to go there and hear what opportunities they have for us. When you talk to the chairman, he has people who have come asking for this. And then atakwambia changamoto ni kukusanya hao watu. Because, they'll go to one thing that I was telling you about our people at times. They have the kuvutheisia mentality, yeah? Kuvutheisia, yeah? They're like, Mr. Bwana Kithu hii vitu amejua mwaka gani. And they tend to affect the way decisions are made. You see, in the greatest vision of our governor, he came up with a very good thing. He said, let us have an industrial park. Let us have a what? An industrial park, a new city. And there were challenges that were coming from our people. And he went and met investors from different forums. I was lucky because I was among the team that met the investors. Then after a short time, because of legal issues, we find that we could not move forward. We lost opportunities for over 50,000 youth in Machakos. Because of what? Not understanding some of these things and the ramifications and thinking short term. The other challenge that I'm finding in public participation is that we centralize more, or the people want short projects that have short-term impact. High cost, low impact, instead of taking them the other way. Low cost, high impact projects. So we have to look at all the costs of all that. So I won't take a lot of time, but as a county, we are going also to work on the knowledge management of what has been happening so that we don't keep repeating the same things over and over again. What are the lessons that are going to learn? We've learned a lot. We've also seen that we need to change our levels of engagement. Looking at it, we have an advantage. In the county today, we have approximately, not approximately, we have 6,700 employees in the county. And 3,400 are youthful out of it. 3,400. Now, the most interesting part is that we have 2,667 men. The ladies are 4,100. Yeah? What does that tell you? That we are heading towards the right direction and we are balanced, more than balanced in the staffing complement. The leadership of the county is also the same way. You know, it's almost, it's 50-50 in the leadership. So why don't we implement the same? Why don't we take challenge and also take the same from our director here? So when you are pushing, you tell people that we have youthful staff. Yeah, we have youthful staff. We tell people, when we are going for public participation, our youth are there. Our employees are there. But they are there so that they can push the other people so that they can come. We make it a very big event. Yes? Yes, there's a ceiling that is supposed to be at 35% of all the budget. But I look at it that way, that we are working towards increasing the revenue. If we increase the revenue, then we lower and even employ more people. Because we have to accept that our geographical area has not attracted, I would call, a lot of industries. And due to what we had envisaged as a government, we saw that we wanted to have industries to absorb people. But then again, there were challenges, as you know, as you are aware, that we could not absorb very many people. So you see, I like that question because the number of employees also are able to push development to the people. Okay? Asanteni sana, I won't take a lot of time because we have a plenary, and I would like to thank everybody, and especially Kara, for organizing this and making sure that everything comes to Machakos. We like Machakos. We say Karibuni Machakos. It's the place to be. For the people who are here, before you leave Machakos, I usually tell people, pitia mahali, kula samosa, nunua vitu za huku, beba. When you are going to from Machakos, let somebody know that you were in Machakos. We have the greatest views. We have the places which defy gravity. Yeah? And also, the cradle of mankind is just a few, the cradle of Ukambani, hapa Kimwe, is just a few kilometers from here. We never forget to talk about our People's Park, because when you go there, you'll also get entertained and also see the different things in Machakos. Asanteni sana, but come back. And anytime you come back, I'm around. Call us. On behalf of Machakos government, allow me to say that we are happy. And we work together with Kara, and we'll continue working together. The Waziri in charge of housing could not make it. They're in a conference at Naivasha. So, and the CEO too. That is why I'm representing them. Asanteni sana, and God bless you.